Hey guys, Redneck Mini 14 here. So I've been doing a lot of videos on the 360 Buckhammer recently, and one thing that I've noticed in the past year since the 360 Buckhammer came out is that a lot of people are going online and in their comments and stuff, they'll say, 360 Buckhammer is just another round that'll be dead in 5 years and you won't be able to get ammo for it because it'll just drop off the face of the earth. And I mean, I kind of get where they're coming from because it seems like just about every year there's another new caliber or two or three coming to the market, and a lot of times, they're marketed really well, and they're supposed to be like the next biggest thing, the latest and greatest, and then it's like a few years later, you don't really hear much about it, and I could think of countless new calibers over the years, and I'm sure some that I've even forgotten about. But here's the thing. There's actually a purpose for this round, and a lot of people are saying it's just another round that nobody asked for. Well, it actually is a round that people asked for. So if you don't really understand the whole laws that are out there on straight wall cartridges when deer hunting or I guess any type of hunting in certain states, then you probably don't understand the purpose of the round. So the purpose of the round is because there are several states in the Midwest like Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, and a few others that have these straight wall case restrictions on what you can use when hunting. And these states were historically shotgun and muzzleloader only, but then in the last, 5 to 10 years, they came out with these new laws that say, well, you can use a rifle, but the cartridge that is fired out of the rifle has to fit within a very slim criteria range. So it has to be a straight wall, it has to be above 35 caliber, and it can't be anything above 45 caliber, something like that. And there's a length restriction too. So it really limits what you could use. And back then, when they first came out with these laws, there were very few rounds that you could actually use in those states. There was 450 Bushmaster was about the only one, but I mean, as far as full power rifle cartridges go. But other than that, it was 357 mag, 44 mag, 41 mag, 45 Colt, I guess. And I don't know, there might have been a few more other obscure cartridges that I don't know about that also fit within the criteria, but it seemed like, the market was really lacking these rounds that optimize the performance out of the cartridges. So the first one that I can think of that came to market was the 350 Legend. After the 450 Bushmaster, that one was already around, but the 350 Legend came out from Winchester, and everybody was so excited about it. There were so many guns that came out with it. There was so many different types of ammo. There's probably close to 20 different types of ammo, maybe even more, for the 350 Legend, and there's so many AR-15s and bolt action rifles and even single shot rifles that shoot 350 Legend. But everybody was wanting a lever action in 350 Legend, and there's a couple of reasons why you can't. It's not that you can't make a lever action in 350 Legend, but there's just a few things that make it a little more difficult than something that has a rim, and it all has to do with head spacing and stuff like that. So Remington saw an opportunity to come out with a new cartridge called the 360 Buckhammer. And basically what it is a 30-30 casing necked up to a 35 Remington size bullets. So these two rounds I have here, this is a Remington Core-Lokt 200 grain and a Federal PowerShock 180 grain. So Remington came out with this round, and it's actually a pretty good round. It's got pretty good ballistics compared to a 30-30 or 35 Remington, and a lot of people will say that it won't do anything that a 30-30 or 35 Remington won't do, and that's absolutely right. But those rounds are not legal in these specific states. And if you look at the ballistics, at least on paper, not necessarily testing them out, but on paper, the ballistics are actually a little bit better than both the 30-30 and the 35 Remington. So it just makes it an all-around good round. And since, as long as you have those restrictions in those, 4, 5, 6 states, this round is going to be popular. Now, I've said in the past that one of the things that dooms new calibers is a lack of market support. And the 360 Buckhammer was one of the examples that I gave in that video. And I said, back then there were only like 2 rifles available and 4 different types of ammunition by 2 different brands, but they're also by the same parent company. So, and still that's actually true as far as the ammo goes. Still, if you go online, you'll only be able to find Remington Core Lock and Federal Power Shock, both 180 and 200 grain ammunition, soft points, and they're basically the same type of ammunition, just 2 different brands, by the same parent company. So as far as the ammo goes, that hasn't really gotten any more, you haven't got any more options as of yet, but there are some coming. So there will be at least 1, maybe 2 options in the Remington Core Lock tipped. I think I've read at least 180 grain and maybe a 160 grain, and then I think there's also going to be a 160 grain maybe in the Core Lock copper. So we're going to have at least 2 different lines come out in Remington, and then Federal is supposed to have a 220 grain hammer down load, so that'll give you a total of 5 different ammunition lines and at least 7, possibly 8 different options for ammo altogether. And I'm sure in the next year or so you'll get Hornady, and they'll probably come out with a lever evolution round like all the other lever action calibers. And then you'll probably get Winchester, and then I don't even know who else would possibly make ammo for this, but as time goes on, we'll get more and more ammo options. As far as the guns go, there's still, Henry still has their, all their rifles. So the Henry X model comes in a 360 Buckhammer. There is the brass side gate option. That comes in a 360 Buckhammer, and there's a wooden steel option and a single shot option. So Henry's got 4 options, and then Magnum Research has a BFR revolver, and I think there's a company, I guess it's called Traditions or something, company that I'm not too familiar with, but I think they make single shot rifles, and I think they also are coming out with a 360 Buckhammer. And who is it? Thompson Center. So the Thompson Center Contender, which I don't even know if those are made anymore, but some companies out there making a custom 360 Buckhammer barrel for a Thompson Contender. So that's another option as well. And I did see on Remington's 2024 catalog on the 360 Buckhammer ammo page, it listed, it had 4 different logos from gun companies, and it said, look, ask your dealer about these gun company, about a gun model in from these gun companies, and it was Henry, Magnum Research, Traditions, and then Rossi was another one. But as of right now, I haven't found anything on Rossi's website about a 360 Buckhammer. But that'd be really cool if they came out with an R95 and 360 Buckhammer, so they'd just give you another option. And then I've heard somebody say that Marlin will come out with one eventually as well. Whether that's true or not, I have no idea. It's just something that I read online. The other point I really wanted to make in this video is that most of the time when a new caliber comes out, it's actually a new caliber for a it's either going to be a new caliber for a bolt action, or it's going to be a new caliber for an AR-15, semi-automatic caliber. So like over the years, you've had 6.5 Grendel, 6.8 SPC, or I forget what that one is. 6.5 Creedmoor, 6mm Creedmoor, 224 Valkyrie, all these calibers that are optimized for semi-automatics and bolt actions. But how often do we get a new lever action caliber that is designed to be fed through a tube-fed lever action? Very rarely. In fact, the last couple of calibers that I can think of that came out for lever action specifically was the 308 and the 338 Marlin Express. And those were great calibers, especially the 338. I really wish that, they'd come back out with those. But, back to my original point on why new calibers fail, it's just a lack of market, a lack of market support. So, Hornady came out with those rounds. Marlin made the rifles, but did anybody else make rifles or single shot handguns or anything like that for them? I couldn't tell you. I can't tell you for sure, but I honestly don't know of any other company that made rifles for those two calibers. And as far as ammo goes, the only two companies that I ever remember making ammo were Hornady and Remington. Now, maybe Federal and Winchester also made rounds, ammo for those calibers, but I don't remember, and they definitely don't make them anymore. So, to me, that was just a huge lack of market support. Now, of course, with the 360 Buckhammer, currently there's only two brands making ammo, but like I said, they're coming out with more ammo lines, and so by deer season, I think you'll see at least 5 different lines of ammo offering ammunition for the 360 Buckhammer. And like I said, in the next year or so, we might see Winchester and Hornady and maybe a couple others come out with ammo options as well. So as far as is the caliber here to stay, I think it's here to stay as long as they still have those restrictions in those states, and I don't see those restrictions going anywhere anytime soon. And so therefore I see these rifles, both calibers, the 350 Legend and the 360 Buckhammer, and maybe even the 400 Legend. I see all these calibers being around for a while. I mean, they are good calibers in their own right. They're not, they're not going to reach out as far as a 30-06, 300 Win Mag, or any of those types of calibers, but as far as what they're designed for, I think they're really good options, and that's part of the reason why I decided to go with a 360 Buckhammer over a 35 Remington, is because I felt that it was a good option. I felt that ammo was available more readily, and it was cheaper, and you could get it in more types of rifles right from the factory. And if Henry came out with a 35 Remington in an X model, or if Marlin came out with their classic 336 in a 35 Remington, I would probably have went with one of those. But I mean, there's nobody really making 35 Remingtons anymore, and the ammo is really expensive. So I mean, you got Henry with their really nice brass 35 Remington rifle, which is a great rifle, but I mean, Marlin doesn't make one, Rossi doesn't make one, Winchester I don't think ever has made one, Remington hasn't made a 35 Remington in a long time, and I don't even know the last time Remington's actually made a lever action other than making Marlins. So anyway, that's why I went with the 360 Buckhammer, and just from what I can see and what I can tell, it just seems like the 360 Buckhammer is here to stay, at least for a while. So I don't think it's going to be dead in 5 years. I don't think it's going to be dead in 10 years. But, could it die off in popularity? I'm sure it's possible. I'm sure there could be another latest and greatest cartridge that comes around the corner and, knocks the 360 Buckhammer off its pedestal. But if that's true, I mean, at least the ammunition will be easy to reload for, because you can use old 3030 brass, and that's another selling point of the 360 Buckhammer. Is the brass is just basically cut down and necked up 3030 brass, and you just put a 35 Remington bullet in it, so it really lends itself to reloading really easily. So that's just another good selling point. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
Hey, before I go, I just thought I'd remind everybody that I do have a second channel called Redneck Off the Range. Over there, I post most of my non-gun related content, so whether it's a video on my new tractor, my power tools, my projects that I'm working on, maybe wild game recipes, or just a random vlog, I post all of this kind of content over on my secondary channel. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, go check it out, Redneck Off the Range. But that's all for this video, so subscribe to my channel, like me on Facebook. I'm Redneck Mini 14, and until next time, be safe.